Welcome back to All Things African. Today, we're diving into one of the most influential cultural movements of the 20th century, the Harlem Renaissance. This era wasn't just about art, literature, and jazz, it was a rebirth of black culture, self-expression, and empowerment that reshaped American history and resonated around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. The Harlem Renaissance kicked off in the early 1920s in Harlem, New York, but its roots ran deeper. To understand how this movement blossomed, let's go back a few years. After the First World War, hundreds of thousands of African Americans migrated from the South to northern cities, seeking better economic opportunities and an escape from the intense racial segregation in the South. This migration, known as the Great Migration, saw Harlem become a cultural haven where black identity could thrive openly. Key figures and their contributions. So, who were the driving forces behind this revolution? The Harlem Renaissance was powered by a brilliant group of poets, writers, musicians, and thinkers who used their talents to advocate for civil rights and challenge oppressive norms. Langston Hughes, perhaps the most famous poet of the era, Hughes captured the struggles and dreams of black Americans. His poem The Negro Speaks of Rivers became an anthem for black pride and identity. Zora Neale Hurston, an incredible novelist and anthropologist, Hurston's work celebrated African American folklore and culture. Her novel Their Eyes Were Watching God remains a literary masterpiece, capturing the unique experiences of black women in America. Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong, on the musical front, these jazz giants brought Harlem's sound to the world. Jazz clubs like the Cotton Club and Apollo Theater became legendary spots where people from all backgrounds gathered to enjoy the new rhythms and express freedom through music. The role of art and literature. The art of the Harlem Renaissance was unique because it was unapologetically black, focusing on the realities of black life. Painters like Aaron Douglas created powerful visuals that depicted African heritage and black experience in America. Literature also became a key part of the movement, as authors like Claude McKay used their words to confront social issues head-on. His famous poem, If We Must Die, spoke directly to the struggles black Americans faced and inspired a spirit of resistance. Jazz, blues, and dance. The soul of Harlem. No discussion of the Harlem Renaissance would be complete without mentioning jazz and blues. These music genres became the soundtracks of the era. Jazz, with its improvisation and energy, was a symbol of the new freedom people were feeling. Legendary performers, such as Bessie Smith, and dancers like Josephine Baker took the stage, pushing boundaries and dazzling audiences. Dance halls, like the Savoy Ballroom, were packed every night, where people celebrated black culture through dance styles like the Lindy Hop. Music and dance created a bridge across communities, showing the world the richness of black creativity. The impact of the Harlem Renaissance on modern culture. So, how did this movement influence the world we live in today? The Harlem Renaissance was the foundation for later civil rights movements. It redefined the image of black Americans in the U.S. and abroad, showcasing the intellectual and artistic potential that was often suppressed by mainstream society. Many of the themes of the Harlem Renaissance, racial pride, self-expression, and social activism, have carried forward through generations, inspiring the civil rights movements of the 1950s and 60s and influencing contemporary artists, poets, and musicians. Icons like James Baldwin, Nina Simone, and even hip-hop artists today all draw inspiration from the Harlem Renaissance, carrying its legacy into the present. Legacy and lessons from the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance taught us about the power of art in social movements. It showed that art can be more than just entertainment. It can be a force for change, a voice for the marginalized, and a way to preserve cultural identity. This movement also highlighted the importance of unity within the black community. People came together to share their stories, to create, and to celebrate their heritage, laying a foundation of pride and resilience. And that, my friends, is the story of the Harlem Renaissance, a cultural revolution that transformed black identity and left an indelible mark on the world.